Welcome to the Shekinah Meditation Podcast, created by Shekinah community members. Shekinah communities are dedicated to creating free devotional spaces of Christian practice for spiritual seekers and travelers around the world. We post Christ-centered guided meditation each week to help you in your personal or small group practice. You can find episode show notes and other information at shekinahcommunity.com.
Hello, this is Ro.
This is Ray.
It's episode 75 of the podcast. And it's Friday the 29th of May as we record this, and we're at the garden in the middle of a day of sunshine.
Yeah. It's amazing. This is the first time that we've done meditation since everything happened with COVID. And we're here after a labyrinth meditation that Ro guided today.
And it was really lovely. It's just small, and we did it very socially distant. We were careful and all that. It was really good just to be together and meditate together again. And,
yeah, it was
sweet.
Amazing. Very peaceful. And yeah, it feels good to do one thing that feels like a normal rhythm thing, even though, so much is changing and we don't know what's going to happen next. But meditation is always good.
Yeah, exactly. So dear people, this podcast, it's supported by you. Because this podcast is about meditation, we want to keep it ad-free. So our beloved patrons over at patreon.com support us for as little as $1 a month, and patrons get extra audio too. You can find us at patreon.com/Shekinah Meditation Podcast. And another way that you can support us is by rating or reviewing us on iTunes. Or you could email the podcast to a friend. You could tie a sign around your puppy dog's neck so that when you go out walking, everyone says, "Ooh, I saw that dog and it had a little sign. It said Shekinah Meditation Podcast." I should Google that.
That's a good idea, yeah. The links will be in our show notes. And you guys are really helping right now. Everything is still happening. We have our staff member that we're paying. We have our office. We have our space in this place that we pay rent for, and bills and all of these things, and we're trying to find ways to help our community in different ways than we normally do. But we still have these expenses, and so patrons, you guys are helping, and we really, really appreciate it. You're really helping to keep us afloat right now.
Yeah, absolutely.
And if you want to be one of those people, it's very simple, and you can just find the link in the show notes or at Shekinah Community. And it's really just as simple as donating a little each month to support us. Patrons, you are the best. You are like a morning meditation in a labyrinth.
Which is just the best.
Walking in the cool air. And yeah, meditating, being on a journey together. That's what we're doing.
Exactly. And beautiful.
So let's talk about the week a little bit, Ro.
Yeah,
Anything interesting happened for you?
Well, I haven't recorded a little intro like this with you for ages.
A million years.
So it's really nice to be doing this again. We've had a pretty quiet week. We did some weeding in the labyrinth to prepare for today, and it was blazing hot. It's been incredibly hot this week. We've had hardly any rain for a couple of weeks here, so it's super, super hot. So we just worked till like 11 or 11:30, and then that was about enough of that nonsense. And then we got into the shade. And then we've been pottering in our own homes, and you've been doing homeschool stuff, right? And you also have something coming out this week.
Oh, that's true. I have a book coming out this week.
Yes! Which I just read yesterday in one sitting because it's so dang good. Yeah.
Thank you, Ro.
What else happened this week? Just going step by step back into life. Just having a little gardening day here, and the guys had a little, not a little day, they had a day working together.
Yeah.
On the studio over at your house, and they've just been working in the workshop here as well, and getting some things done, and making little step-by-step stuff back into our life.
Like, we're working on different projects, connecting with people through the week in little tiny stops and starts.
Yeah.
And going day by day as we have been. And we hope these meditations are helping you. This one is a little bit shorter than usual, and we've had requests over the years for shorter meditations, and so we're going to try to get some more of these shorter ones out. And it might be helpful if you just don't have as much time or even as much focus. Today's episode is Lectio Divina on Jeremiah 17, verses 7 to 8. It's guided by Ro, recorded in Pai, Thailand. And the meditation will have 3 parts as usual. Ro will guide you first into a space of mind where you're a bit more ready and prepared for meditation through some mindfulness exercises. And she will read through the verses with plenty of silence and space in between. And then the last part is about processing. And so you can take some time if you're by yourself. I would suggest to jot some notes down. Maybe draw a picture.
Sing a song. Do a dance.
Do a dance. Do something that kind of makes it from the moment of meditation into the rest of your life.
Yeah.
Helps you to connect it to other things and collect these moments and add them together. And then, or if you're with other people, then it's a great time to listen to each other and share.
Yeah, maybe taking an object like a talking stick or a stone and passing it around your circle and just letting each person share when they have the stick. So not interrupting each other, let them just talk as much as they need to. Just share their experience, and we try not to preach at each other or teach, but just share what happened for us in that moment.
Let's begin.
Welcome to Shekinah Meditation today. As we begin, just invite you to find a position where you can sit comfortably, perhaps rolling your shoulders a few times, stretching a little, getting comfortable in whatever position you're in, so that you can come to a point of stillness. And let's just let our attention come to our breath. Just breathing normally and comfortably, not needing to change how we're breathing, but just noticing the feeling and the sensations as we breathe. Noticing the sensations of the inhalation and the exhalation. The movement in your body as you breathe in and out. Having curiosity about your breath and your body. Noticing all the little things there are to notice about what happens when we breathe. And as we breathe, perhaps noticing some other sensations in the body as well. Maybe noticing the breeze on your skin, or the feeling of your clothing against your skin. Noticing the parts of your body that meet the mat or the chair under you. Just noticing each sensation as it comes to your awareness. Perhaps noticing any parts of the body that are stiff or sore. Feel free to move them a little if that helps. A gentle stretch or a shift. If you can bring a little bit more comfort to your body, go ahead and do that. Eventually coming to a point of stillness. We don't need to stay perfectly still for the whole meditation, but to begin with, it's good to try to have a moment of stillness with our body. And as our body is still and our breathing is just calm and natural, it's normal for us to notice that our inner world, our thoughts, are perhaps not so still. Maybe they're quite active in this moment. We're just going to spend a couple of moments noticing those thoughts as they come by. You might like to imagine that your thoughts are beautiful stones. You're picking each one up, perhaps turning it over and noticing its shape and color, and then placing it to the side. You may like to imagine putting it into a box or a beautiful bowl, somewhere to the side where you don't need to worry about it for the time of this meditation. So as each thought comes, we just notice it. We try not to judge ourselves or the thought. We notice it arise, we examine it briefly, and then we put it to the side. If during the rest of our meditation any of those thoughts come back and disturb you or distract you, that's perfectly normal. We'll just be kind to ourselves, notice that it's happening, and then perhaps again imagine taking that thought and placing it to the side like a stone. As we turn to the second part of our meditation, the reading of a few verses of Scripture, you might like to take a posture that signifies your readiness to listen and receive. Maybe holding your hands palm upward on your knees or in your lap, or some other physical sign or symbol of listening, of receptivity. And as we turn to these words, you might perhaps like to invite the divine to speak to you through these words today. I'll be reading these verses through, pardon me, a number of times, with lots of space and silence, and a few simple questions along the way. For this first reading, I just invite you to perhaps look for a word or a phrase that stands out for you. Something that shines above the rest. That might not happen, and that's fine too. You might prefer just to let the words wash over you. The first reading. Blessed are those who trust in the Lord and have made the Lord their hope and confidence. They are like trees planted along a riverbank with roots that reach deep into the water. Such trees are not bothered by the heat or worried by long months of drought. Their leaves stay green and they never stop producing fruit. During this second reading, I'll read each phrase or sentence twice and then leave some space, a minute or two, between each one. Feel free during this silence to explore the words with your imagination, with memories, perhaps again seeking if there's a word or a phrase that stands out for you. You might like to approach these words like a child, with curiosity and interest, seeing where the divine might guide you as you think and consider. Are there images that come to mind or songs? Listening to see what the divine might speak to you through these words. The second reading. Blessed are those who trust in the Lord and have made the Lord their hope and confidence. Blessed are those who trust in the Lord and have made the Lord their hope and confidence. They are like trees planted along a riverbank with roots that reach deep into the water. They are like trees planted along a riverbank with roots that reach deep into the water. Such trees are not bothered by the heat or worried by long months of drought. Such trees are not bothered by the heat or worried by long months of drought. Their leaves stay green, and they never stop producing fruit. Their leaves stay green, and they never stop producing fruit. On this third reading, I'd again like to invite you to play with the words, to perhaps look again for a word or a phrase that stands out for you, to perhaps again ask the Divine to speak to you through these words. You might also like to ask, why do I need to hear this today? What would you say to me? And why do I need to hear this today? The third reading. Blessed are those who trust in the Lord and have made the Lord their hope and confidence. They are like trees planted along a riverbank, with roots that reach deep into the water. Such trees are not bothered by the heat or worried by long months of drought. Their leaves stay green, and they never stop producing fruit. As we begin to move away from this part of the meditation, you might like to again take a few deep breaths into the belly. Maybe sighing it out with open mouth. Beginning to bring your attention back to the here and now, to wherever it is that you're seated. The third part of the meditation is about processing. So if you're meditating by yourself, perhaps some journaling, some prayer, some thinking. Or if you're with others, perhaps a talking circle, an opportunity for each one to share of their experience. Thanks so much for joining us for Shekinah Meditation today.
Thank you for joining today. There will be a new guided meditation available each week, so don't forget to subscribe to iTunes or sign up for our newsletter to get podcasts delivered to your inbox at www.shekinahcommunity.com/podcast newsletter. Also, you can rate or review on iTunes or sign up as a patron at patreon.com/Shekinah Meditation Podcast. Have a beautiful week. Many blessings to you.